The world's most popular monster truck, the Gravedigger, goes for 2 in a row today on ESPN. We're on a racetrack where just about anything can happen. And it does, as usual, to USA 1. Wait till you see this one. And I'm happy to be in beautiful Richmond, Virginia on the James River. This is where several national bass fishing champions have been crowned. But today, a sport with a little more noise to it. The TNT Monster Truck Challenge at Richmond International Raceway. Today's lineup to be watching for on ESPN, the Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, trying to make it 2 wins in a row at Richmond. The Equalizer flip, a flashback of things that have happened before to the World Championship truck. The walls and their victims, and it is the tightest course to run on. It has been a course this year and last year that's provided unbelievable thrills and excitement, partially because it is such a tight course, and it creates a lot of interesting dilemmas for the drivers. Now, a year ago, the Equalizer, then with David Morris driving, and one of its most horrendous flips of the year. Boy, you see it right there. A scary moment for David Morris, but the Equalizer driver not only came out of this okay, he rolled on to win the World Championship. Army Armstrong standing by with the winner of the first night from 1990 racing at Richmond, Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger. Let's take it over to Army right now.
Well, thanks, Scott. We're standing with the man of the hour in Richmond, Virginia. Last week's winner, Dennis Anderson. And Dennis, last week you looked like the Dennis Anderson Gravedigger of old.
Yeah, we came out and, I drove a little different style. It was a pretty good course for me, except the course was a little narrow. We had those walls to worry about, but I laid down some good straight passes, and that's what it took to win.
Let's talk about those walls. The walls at this track is the only track where you run where it's such confined walls. Okay, you only got like 5 or 6 feet outside of the cars. That intimidates a lot of the drivers. However, you, who are known as one of the most wild drivers in the sport, didn't seem to bother at all. You went straight as an arrow.
Yeah, well, I tried a few things in qualifying, and it worked pretty much. So I just, I raced the rest of the night like that, and it worked for me. And the past 2 years here, every year I jumped this wall, and the wall will do some damage to the truck. And I wanted to go away as a winner and stay off that wall.
This is what happened a year ago in 1989 when the Gravedigger came to Richmond, Virginia, over the wall. You just heard Dennis talking about it. Last week here on ESPN, he was able to stay off of that wall, and that became a critical point. He kept things nice and straight the whole way. The final, he got a little wild, as you saw just a moment ago, but he kept the truck straight. He kept it on all 4 wheels, and he got a huge victory in front of a lot of fans, friends, and family that are here to root the Gravedigger on in Richmond, Virginia at Richmond International Raceway. Well, it's going to be a little tougher to make it 2 in a row. Let's look back at qualifying just a few moments ago. Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger, by himself qualifying. On the end of the run, he snapped the front drive shaft. Now, we don't know if that's going to be terminal or if he can get it repaired to come into the first round of competition, but certainly it's not going to be as smooth as things were a week ago for the big Gravedigger monster truck of Dennis Anderson. As we look at it again, watch the end of the run. That's where you'll see the problems and something coming out from underneath. Well, what comes out is a shield that actually gets snapped, and they break the drive shaft off on the front end right here. Dennis Anderson's truck is into some trouble. Well, we've documented the problems, the troubles. The question is, can Dennis Anderson get that truck fixed and make it to the first round of competition? Our Chris Chapman is standing by with Dennis Anderson to see exactly what the prognosis is.
Dennis, he had some problems on qualifying, broken front drive shaft.
Yeah, well, I didn't really qualify that hard. I didn't come off the line, but it's just one of those things. I think the front shaft went away just before I hit the second pile of cars.
You going to come back and run it 2-wheel drive?
Yeah, I think so. We'll pull the damaged shaft out and see if we can stick another one in or just replace the yoke and try to go for it.
Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Dennis Anderson, not real happy, but he's going to try. There's the culprit, another broken drive shaft on the Gravedigger. We're coming right back to see if Anderson can make it into the first round of competition. First round action action from Richmond International Raceway in Virginia on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge finds the Equalizer carrying in a 1-point lead over Bigfoot. The Auto Value King punched its third, and Carolina Crusher, Awesome Kong. The USA 1 truck is 6th. Gravedigger is in the 7th spot, followed by Nightlife, Outlaw, and John Swasnewski's Buffalo Tremor. Well, our first round matchup will have the Nightlife truck from Grand Island, Nebraska, facing off against Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. The Digger ready to go at it. You just saw one of his many fans here in Richmond, Virginia, holding up a sign. A lot of people love the Gravedigger, but they're not going to see a Gravedigger that's at 100%. Gravedigger will only be able to run in two-wheel drive. He'll be able to run. He'll be able to get some speed, but nowhere near what he's going to need, I wouldn't think, to knock off a top caliber truck like Dave Wysoric's Nightlife Chevrolet. Dennis Anderson, no, you really couldn't even get off the starting line. Now he'll pick up some ground here in the middle, but it won't be enough as Dave Wysoric's Nightlife coasts to an easy victory over the Gravedigger monster truck and Dennis Anderson. The last week here on ESPN was such a high for the Gravedigger racing team. Today, a real downer in front of friends and family as he goes out early in the competition. Dave Wysoric knocking him off, and there you see on the second set of cars, Gravedigger not even making a legal pass, so he's not even going to have a shot to come back by virtue of a fast loser rule. You get a good look at it here as Anderson does not hit the second set of cars properly and does not stay on top of the cars, so it's going to be a disqualified run.
It's probably a little disappointing after such a great performance last week here in Richmond.
Yeah, I am. You know, we ran real hard last week and won in the finals and didn't have any problems with the truck. We knocked one tire off the rim, but that wasn't any big deal. We got it repaired and we were ready to go. And this week, you know, I come out and qualify. I had the fastest qualifying time, twisted the front shaft. We couldn't get a shaft back in it in time before I had to run the next round, and I come off the line and I got a little crossed up and I just couldn't do anything with it.
Considering running in two-wheel drive, is that about what you expected to do?
Yeah, I expected to do a little bit better than that, but I really didn't want to run the truck too hard because if I'd come down a nosedive, you can get in some serious trouble without a front drive shaft.
Well, maybe we'll see you as a fast loser.
All right, good deal.
No, it's official. Gravedigger disqualified and he's out for the night. Equalizer and USA 1 getting ready to go head-to-head. These are the same two trucks that squared off when Equalizer flipped a year ago. Army Armstrong talked with Greg Holbrook, even though he wasn't the driver a year ago, to get his thoughts on that race.
Greg, last year the Equalizer flipped to Richmond, Virginia. A different driver. You were not in the truck at that time, but does the fact that it flipped here affect you mentally before you get into the truck?
No, I mean, that's another driver, and it's another year. You can't think about things like that. You got to block the wall out and then thought of flipping.
Greg Holbrook has not flipped yet in the Equalizer. I'm sure he's hoping it never happens. David Morris flipped here, but it had nothing to do with the wall. So I'm sure when Gary Cook, the owner of the truck, talked with his rookie driver about what happened here last year, he was basically telling him that the problems were basically mechanical. The axle broke, the wheel sheared off, and the truck flipped. It had nothing to do with these walls. And there's a thumbs up from Holbrook. He's ready to go against USA 1. Steve Wilkie is in trouble. The USA 1 truck goes over. Almost unbelievable. A matchup of the same two trucks from the fireworks of a year ago, and this time it's USA 1 who lands on his roof. Steve Wilkie still trying to get out of the truck. Now the word we're getting is that Steve's talking and is okay. So we should be seeing him popping out of the truck here in just a moment. But wow, what a scary moment. He completely sheared the front axle and both front wheels. That whole assembly is laying, there it is, well behind the USA 1 truck, which has gone on down further up the track. We're going to get some more looks at what is absolutely a horrifying run for Steve Wilkie's USA 1 operation. And, you know, USA 1 has flipped more than any other monster truck, but that was certainly the most unusual flip I think I've ever seen out of that or any other truck. The whole front axle assembly and wheels just looked like they stopped and the truck continued. There's Wilkie. Boy, Steve looks a little shaky, but he's getting out under his own power. A wave to the crowd. But I'm going to tell you, Wilkie is just looking at, I'm sure, the job ahead trying to repair the USA 1 truck. he's already going to work. He gets a handshake from the loader operator, and they're going to try and get it straightened out right now. The hands up in the air right there were to tell the rescue squad that he's okay. He doesn't need to see a medic or an ambulance. And boy, I don't... It's just something else. He just kind of took the bull by the horn, not worried about himself, trying to get now the truck back up on all fours. Well, wait a minute. All twos. It's all he's got left. And trying to put it back together. John Pyatt from Bigfoot, arch rivals, but, you know, at a time like this, John, just over with, you know, a few words of encouragement for Steve Wilkie. It's got to be disgusting. Here it is again. Now, you're going to see the USA 1 truck way over already. Wilkie's in trouble. He actually got up onto the cars and Equalizer's lane, and boy, Greg Holbrook, I wonder if he even saw him coming after him like that. USA 1 almost smacked him, too.
Steve, we finally got a chance to talk to you. First off, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, Chris.
What in the world happened out there?
Well, I come out the first stack, and again, we have to run so hard to try and keep the pace with 3-year-old equipment. I come out the first stack, and the rear end kicked up on me, and I was in the hammer driving the front end around, and I was crossed up going to the second stack, so I brought it around, and when I landed between the cars and the second stack, the front end let go and wrapped back underneath me.
See, from our vantage point, it almost looked like you touched Equalizer, did you?
I don't believe so, Chris. I asked Greg, the driver of Equalizer, and he said I didn't, but it was the type of thing where if I did, I'm sorry, but it's a racing accident, and we're in much worse shape than he is.
What was going through your mind during all that?
Damn, I gotta go home and fix it.
Well, right now we're standing with a gentleman that was involved in the very first flip of the USA 1 truck, took it to a world championship, but hey, that truck almost seems like it's been spooked, Rod Litzow.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're pushing the truck over its limits right now. It's fatigued, and it's gone over 8 times now, and we keep putting it back together, but I think it's time we got to come out with a new truck. We just pushed this truck too hard, and times are changing, and the truck ain't designed to keep up right now, so we have to renew it.
Here's one more look at the wild flip of USA 1. Back with the quarterfinals in just a moment. Quarterfinal round of competition here tonight in Richmond, Virginia. It's Richmond International Raceway, and it's the Auto Value King Crunch Special with Scott Stevens from Woodland, Texas, squaring off with Dave Wysorik's Nightlife Chevrolet out of Grand Island, Nebraska. What a contrast. The beautiful Nightlife, a truck basically brand new, and the Auto Value King Crunch has had to shed a lot of skin from some recent battles, but is running, and they hope to have it at 100%. Let's listen.
Scott, this Army Armstrong, what's everything looking like?
Looks pretty good, Army.
In the lane you want to be in?
Yeah, pretty much. Dave's going to run good, though. He's running real quick.
Boy, you hear the words right before race time from Scott Stevens as he talks with Army Armstrong on two-way radio. Right now, though, he's thinking only about watching for the green light headed to the end of the track as he battles Wysorik. Nightlife Chevrolet. Crunch got the win.
Close, but I think you got him. You okay, Scott?
Dave fought me a little bit there, but I think we might have won.
Indeed, he won, and indeed, Dave Wysorik bumped him at the end of the run. Watch this replay. And especially watch the end of the run. Both trucks, because of the walls on the outside, leaning toward the middle. And watch what happens when they both turn their wheels inside. Wysorik just kisses him a little bit. Let's go to Army with the winner, Scott Stevens.
Well, Scott, it doesn't come any easier the further you go in this field, does it?
Now, you know, Dave Wysorik's one of the toughest ones out there, and he's real consistent. we knew that, he was running a little quicker. We were just going to do our race, and I don't think it was a very quick race. Dave was off his pace quite a bit, but, we heard a lot of parts last week, and we were just going to do something that we could live with, and how he got us through that round.
One of the things that everybody spooked earlier was 2 trucks touching wheels on this track. You all did touch wheels. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I really, usually all night long I've been running her out pretty far to the end, and just lucky that time I didn't have no plan on running her to the end. If I'd been running her like I had the other 2 passes, it might have put Dave on his top or something, because he had a lot of momentum, and I bumped him on my front end, and his back end came up pretty high, but I'd already shut off, because, our truck's not 100%, and I wasn't going to run it that hard.
Our next matchup will send the Equalizer, the defending world champion and current world championship points leader, up against his closest rival, Bigfoot. John Pyatt driving Bigfoot number 4. Those of you following the TNT Monster Truck Challenge know that most of the points that Bigfoot has were accumulated by Bigfoot 8 and Andy Brass. That TNT temporarily banned Bigfoot 8 while other trucks try to catch up with this technology. Bigfoot 4's points are accumulating along with Bigfoot 8, but certainly not at the same rate. And this is a big, big matchup if Bigfoot 4 can get the win. Andy Brass cheering for his buddy John Pyatt. Can he pull it off? No. Equalizer gets the win, and Bigfoot 4 smacks the wall and hits it again. Now Pyatt straightens her up, but I don't know if there was any damage at all done. Bigfoot 4 hit the wall quite solidly at the end of the run. Let's watch the replay. Equalizer wins it, and then Bigfoot 4 smacks the wall. It's a full-length victory for Equalizer. Now watch John Pyatt bang. That's why so many trucks have been correcting to the center, because if you get off a little bit on the outside, you are into the wall. Here's the end zone replay, and you'll see Bigfoot and John Pyatt come off too far to the outside and smack the retaining wall. Equalizer wins it. Bigfoot loses more ground in the World Championship points race. But Greg Holbrook in the Equalizer having problems himself. Gary Cook looking over some damage sustained on that victorious run. And the loader is going to have to tow in the Equalizer. We'll find out what his problem is when we come back to ESPN.
The key crunch, battle wearing off. He's literally torn the side and front off the truck. He stays alive to come back and go against Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. Porter's been looking awfully strong. Stevens will have lane choice. That could be the difference in this round. Then we got Wild Hair, Marvin Smith out of Missouri, plenty of horsepower, having chassis problems going against the kid that seems to be the old-time gunfighter. Nothing rattles the Equalizer. That's the Final 4.
Okay, Army, there you get a look at Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher, the big Chevrolet. And when I talk about this truck, I normally talk about consistency, because that stands out about this truck. It's successful. It wins a lot. But more than anything else, it survives. It seems to always be able to go at 100%. Maybe on its best day against everybody else on their best day, Crusher wouldn't win all the time. But everybody's not on their best all the time in sport. There's too much wear and tear on equipment, and Porter has a knack for keeping his truck running at near 100%. Here he goes up against a beaten and battered Auto Value King Crunch. And it will be the Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter, a nice, smooth, consistent run, and the Auto Value King Crunch just never seems to be able to get a whole lot going. Let's look at it again. And, boy, the Crunch truck with all that damage really got a wild shot off the first set of cars, and that sealed his fate. Army Armstrong has gone by to talk to Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher.
Gary, it's final time, and you're going to be there. The truck looks better right now than I've seen in a couple of weeks.
It is. The truck seems to be handling real good. I think I got the course figured out. It's been so long since I've been in the finals. I'm just glad to be here right now.
Do you have any preference as to who you're going to run? It'll either be Wild Hair or the Equalizer.
Well, Equalizer, he's really turning some fast times right now, and, I think it'll be him in the finals, and he'll be a very tough competitor.
Certainly in this matchup, you would figure Equalizer would be the odds-on favorite over Wild Hair. Marvin Smith certainly a surprise in the semifinals. He struggled all year, broke his frame in a crash with the Clydesdale in Dallas a couple of months ago. So it's almost an entirely new truck for Marvin Smith's Wild Hair. Of course, Marvin, the old Stomper driver, new design, new name for 1990, but he struggled most of the year. Left of your screen is the Wild Hair. On the right, it's the Equalizer, the defending world championship truck, and its rookie driver, Greg Holbrook out of Tennessee. Marvin Smith, the Wild Hair, out of Arnold, Missouri. Watch for the green. Right there, we're underway. Showtime for the semifinal. And as expected, the Equalizer has earned a berth in the final matchup. You may remember Equalizer had to be towed off after his quarterfinal run. There was some kind of an oil pressure problem, but it doesn't look like that had any effect on his run here in the semifinals, as the Equalizer looks strong in putting away the Wild Hair. Once again, the victory to Greg Holbrook and the Equalizer. He goes up against Carolina Crusher in the Monster Smash Final, and that is coming up next. The crowd in Richmond, Virginia on its feet for the finals, the Monster Smash, the matchup between the two survivors here tonight. Let's go to Army Armstrong to set the scene.
Well, it's final time in Richmond, Virginia, Richmond International Raceway, and these people are going to see a war. We got a kid coming out of Tennessee driving a world champion Equalizer. And you know, if this kid would have been born 100 years ago, I guarantee you, he'd have been a gunfighter. You can just see it in his eyes. He's a straight shooter. Who's he going to be going up against? Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. Both drivers have already told us they're going to be in the lanes they want to be in. It's going to be a great final.
Of course, Tommy, these are the two trucks that battled for the World Championship a year ago. Equalizer won it, Crusher finished second, and Crusher, with a late start on the 1990 racing season, has kind of very quietly been sneaking up on Equalizer and Bigfoot, while Equalizer had a little struggling part about a month ago during the driver change, and while Bigfoot had the truck change, Crusher's been gaining points. Can he pull a win off here? Yes! The Carolina Crusher with his biggest victory in quite some time on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, manhandled the Equalizer. Let's watch it again. Boy, Crusher with a nice straight shot over that first set. Equalizer looked like he was a little out of shape, and that helped the Carolina Crusher have all the momentum to hit the second set of cars. Gary Porter with a huge victory. Boy, look at him. He's happy to get that one. It's been a while, but Crusher's back in victory lane. Army Armstrong's going to talk with your winner.
Gary, in the winner's circle. Congratulations.
Thank you, Army. I swear it's been a long time since I've been in the winner's circle. You know, it just seemed like, you know, I just couldn't get it all together, you know, at a race, and it finally all came together here, you know, to take the win, and I'm proud of it.
The truck looked like it was going good, but this was just not an easy race to win for anybody, was it?
It's not. That wall, you know, being so close to everybody is so conscious of the wall, and you really have to be on your toes to drive this course.
Congratulations. We're awfully proud of you.
Okay, thank you.
Gary Porter gained some ground by winning it all at Richmond and the Carolina Crusher, but the Equalizer, by making it to the final, extends his season point lead over Bigfoot. It's now up to 16 points. The Auto Value King Crunch third, but Carolina Crusher is reeling him in slowly, and believe me, Crusher's not out of this thing yet with a long way to go. Awesome Kong USA won. Gravedigger, Nightlife, the Outlaw, and the Buffalo Tremor round out the top 10 in the season points challenge.
In any kind of motorsport, to be a rookie, you got a lot of pressure on you. This is exactly what happened, I believe. You were pushing that light a little bit, it kind of burped on you, backed on the pedal, and then went after him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was trying to just get the time of light just right, and it didn't work. I got on it too soon and had to let out of it.
Do you ever get excited about anything? You seem so calm and cool. Do you ever get excited about anything?
I get a little nervous sometimes before a race, but I try. It really don't bother me.
What about the national points chase now? As we're leaving Richmond, man, you're looking awfully good. You're looking a lot better than you did when you came in.
Yeah, 2 seconds got us way out ahead of foot. I believe it really helped us.
How about this Porter guy, though? He's starting to flex his muscle and come back on you guys. This top 5 is going to be a war before the year's over, isn't it?
Yeah, anything can happen here. We could total the truck out or something and just fall completely out of it. You never know.
That's all from Richmond, Virginia. Please look for the TNT Monster Truck Challenge again